Sandra, thanks so much for joining us. There's a lot to cover here in this case. And first off, I mean, the developing news was that he is being held now in jail. Did that surprise you at all, given the circumstances, or no?
No, it didn't. Considering the press reported that when the raid occurred back in March of 2024, he was spotted at an airport, and his private jet actually took off to Antigua. So while the judge gave different grounds as to why the bail was being denied, I can't imagine that that was not in the back of their minds that he had access to private jets and may try to flee.
Did you read this indictment? Because, I kind of glanced over it, and just some of the highlights were shocking, frankly.
Well, the investigation was conducted by Homeland Security, and I think that it would have been shocking to me had we not seen the video of him with the singer Cassie
Oh.
from that hotel security video that they had tried to have destroyed before before the government got a hold of it. And so it didn't surprise me once I saw that type of the video and that type of behavior.
Mm.
You hear in rumor mills, the rumor circuits, that that had been his MO for a number of
Mm.
years. And, you don't know what is true or not true, but it's hard to deny it when you saw it on that hotel security video when he didn't think anyone was watching.
Yeah. In America, it's always, someone's fall from grace gets a lot of media attention. And this is going to be a story. Obviously, we're covering it right now, but this is something that is not going to go away. And this really is a fall from grace story, right?
Oh, it definitely is. But I think it is one that it's not a fall from grace. I'm above the law.
Mm.
And I think that often money and wealth can buy silence. And I think that when the government got involved, Homeland Security, due to the number of reports they had, and then when they raided his home and it appeared that the serial numbers, on the weapons that he had in his home in the closet had been, the had been obscured or defaced. So, yeah, it appears that there's been some bad behavior for a long period of time of threats of violence. There's reports that the sex acts were recorded,
Mm.
and then when the victims were trying to separate from Diddy and his constituents, that they would use those um, to to hold them hostage, if you will, and threatening to release those sex tapes. And there's allegations that they drugged them, so it is, yeah, it's sickening, is what it is.
Yeah. You said too that I guess this court, it's the same court that Harvey Weinstein was also put on trial. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. I have always said when you are indicted by the U.S. Southern District of New York, you are going to prison.
Oh.
That is Homeland Security. What they have laid out is what they're able to prove, and they laid out a very detailed indictment. And it is when you are indicted in federal court, it is very rare that there is a not guilty
Mm.
finding by a jury.
Do you think too that this could also inspire, encourage, I don't know if those are the right words, but help other women, to come forward, because now that he is behind bars, that this would help some of those victims, tell their stories now?
Well, it was interesting in preparing to talk with you today. I was looking at the information that was being circulated among the different press releases, and there's actually a tip line,
Mm.
and they're encouraging other victims to come forward, but to come forward quickly.
Mm.
So, I think they obviously believe that they have enough for an indictment, um, especially since they're holding him. the U.S. Magistrate Judge indicated that she's going to hold him, confine him through trial. So they're going to make it a priority to get him. There's going to be a speedy trial, I believe. And so, they're encouraging through this tip line for other folks to come forward.
And he's facing life behind bars.
Yeah, it up to 20 years. The racketeering charge, I was looking at in federal court with racketeering or sex trafficking is punishable up to 20 years. So I don't know how many counts there's going to be in terms of the number of individuals that they determine that he was involved in sex trafficking. I don't know how many charges there's actually going to be that will end up being tried. Right now, there are 3. They certainly can amend it and add additional charges with additional victims that will impact. Because different from state court, in federal court, there are sentencing guidelines. And so this U.S. Magistrate Court, what the magistrate does is she is the initial magistrate judge that presides over the case through the discovery. She will hear all discovery, all pretrial motions, but all dispositive motions. And then the trial, there'll be the U.S. judge will be the one who will preside over the case.
Is there anything else that you think that the people watching this would find fascinating about this case moving forward?
Well, I think it's interesting looking at the magistrate judge's background. She's well credentialed. She is a Yale, Harvard grad who spent time developing rights for pro se litigants in the court system, particularly in the court system. So she has been on what appears to be an advocate on the defense side. So for her to take such a drastic, radical position of denying bail, I think says a lot regarding the evidence that she has seen so far and is aware of. That the indictment is just paper, right? But she's actually undoubtedly, in making her decision, has seen, they've presented evidence of his wrongdoing, and she's convinced that it is likely that a jury is going to convict him.
Sandra Spurgeon, thanks so much for your insight. We really appreciate it.